Hey everyone, welcome to the fifth episode of the Yoni Shimon Show, the premier podcast for staying up in everything Web3. So today we have a special guest, Jessy from EigenLayer. And of course, it's an honor to speak to you specifically as EigenLayer is making such great strides in the Ethereum space. But for the viewers out there, we're going to be talking specifically on your overview of becoming crypto native, building in the space, what the future of potentially EigenLayer looks like, and just your general perspectives on the ecosystem as we are looking at this upcoming bull run.
And I will add to that that like I met Jessy before EigenLayer when she organized. I think she still organizes hacker houses that brought together like the most talented groups that I met in crypto. So maybe a good place to start is for Jessy just to say what's your journey. You can start with crypto. You can even go before, whatever you prefer.
Yeah. So, hey everyone, this is Jessy from EigenLayer. I currently am the ecosystem lead here. But I think I definitely came a long way. I've tried many things before I delved deep into EigenLayer and restaking. Like just did various like crazy experiments beforehand, and I think and I eventually landed where I'm at now, and I feel like there's a word that I describe the experience right now, which is Ikigai. So it's like a Japanese term for achieving like your internal harmony with being just very happy and satisfied with where you're at, like doing something that you really enjoy, doing something that you really are good at, doing what the world needs and getting paid for. And so like I think basically I would love to help uncover how I get to Ikigai with the various decisions, experiments, inflection points in my life that I made that leads to where I'm at now. So maybe like even before crypto, I was so I've always been super interested in tech and entrepreneurship. So like, for college, I went to like this very alternative education type of college program called Watson Institute in Boulder, Colorado, where we only had like 25 students in the entire university. Everyone was like trying to do some sort of social entrepreneurship ventures, right? And back then I started this thing called Openly, which basically is trying to bring open source projects or like the open source collaboration workflow from GitHub to beyond that to like documents. And the reason why we were doing that was because we saw the crazy type of like collaboration that was happening in coding and programming that isn't really replicated in anywhere else in the world. Like, how do we get more collective intelligence and people working with each other and not reinvent the wheels? So like, I've always been really fascinated with the coordination problem. But back then I didn't really know anything about crypto. But this has propelled me to doing various other things like, joining a accelerator program with a startup. I was like the youngest founder back then, like 19, accepted to an accelerator in Singapore called Antler. And then I was doing like the company didn't go anywhere, but it still like I brought the mission forward, and I continued to stay in the sort of like the realm of tech entrepreneurship. I was like interning at some funds. I was organizing some tech startup festivals. I joined another company called Rome Research, which is very similar philosophy to Openly in terms of having collective intelligence for document collaboration. But after that, it propelled me to crypto because I joined crypto like very late 2021. But what I saw in crypto was the fact that you are solving a very, very big problem of trust. How do you have trust and having trustless properties when you interact and interface with anyone in the world, right? And that I think is very synonymous with what I've been working on for a very long time. But because I had a lot of these sort of previous sort of like steps that I've taken to get myself involved in the tech startup venture capital ecosystem, I was able to join crypto by joining this VC called Smarty Lab full time. Basically, I think joining Smarty Lab was like, my first key to crypto. And through Smarty Lab, I was able to do like a few things, right? Like, basically, like the one thing that I was doing there was like big data training my AI algorithm. So if you think about it, everyone is like an AI in some way. You are constantly training yourself. And the training that I received was essentially my boss would ask me, hey, show me 3 alpha projects every single day. And I did that for like 3 months straight. And in order to do that, you have to like look at like 50 projects a day, right? And like that quickly helped me like, I looked at every single company on CoinMarketCap and realized, oh, you can actually make a lot of money with crypto. I actually did not know that people like 100x, 1,000x in crypto. Like I guess the money part never like was the thing that I realized when I first joined, but I only realized that much later. But anyway, like it's just like basically flipping through all the companies, whether they already like launched token or whether they've not and they're just doing some sort of cool experiment, right? Like just like once you have that quantity of projects that you see and the type of things that people do, you quickly start to have like pattern recognition of like what is new and novel, right? I think that's like something that I think anyone can do, regardless of joining a fund or not. Like you can just, I think it's something that people should do. Another thing is like being able to like have my travel covered. And like basically this is what helped us run the first ever hacker house, because my travel was expensed, and I was like, oh hey, these people on Twitter, this guy called DC Builder is asking for a place to stay in East Denver back in 2022. We should just like upgrade the house a little bit and like like basically host something that we can like for people outside just me, right? And so we got this like 3-bedroom apartment in East Denver that ended up hosting like 20 people. Like hackers were like laying on the floor, sleeping on couches, right? It was amazing. Like
so that's how the hacker house was born.
Yeah, that was how the hacker house was born, because I had the funds, or like because otherwise I think for any individual to run that is very like it was expensive, right? But having them sort of be on my side doing supporting from the financial side was very helpful. But and the other thing was like I think the Smarty Lab founders were in really good relationship with the Flashbots founders. Like they were together in the bear market back in 2018, 2019. And they introduced Tina from Flashbots to our hacker house, and like she was sleeping right next to me, and she was helping to bring a lot of really good people to the house. Like we ran this back running party, and like Vitalik just so happened to come to visit Optimism, which is downstairs, and then like saw Tina in the elevator and us, and then decided to come to our house afterwards. Like a lot of I think a lot of luck for sure, like being able to like be connected to the right people. Like back then that was like my first ever crypto conference, and I was able to meet all these people already. So I think that was like crazy key sort of thing. Like once you're the host, once you start hosting something, like you get to attract people to you, and once you're tapped into like really good people, those good people bring good people. And I think this is how I quickly like on-ramped myself very fast to crypto, by first with big data training of like looking at all these projects, but second with like this be able to meet people in person and get tapped into this network. I think are some of the inflection points. And then, afterwards I joined Nascent as a EIR, entrepreneur in residence, because I didn't realize, or I didn't want to become a sort of like a VC anymore. I want to do startups. I wanted to either join a company or do my own startup. And so, joining Nascent, I, pivoted how we run the hacker house to, instead of having like, hosting random really good people, I was looking for people who are like building really cool new ideas, so I can be sort of like co-founders with, or maybe just help support their project in various other ways. And this is how I like started hosting a bunch more hacker houses. And then we started to like decentralize the hacker house by working with various companies who are relevant to the topic, explore different types, like variety of topic, and like all of that is because I'm personally driven by like intellectual curiosity to learn more from new people, right? And I think that was the other inflection point. And then the third inflection point is after like this.
Wait, I have a question about the hacker houses. Like, what were the things that you learned from doing these hacker houses about like how to bring people together, how ideas is born, how I don't know, people behavior, like learn about the space. Like what were your main learnings from all of those hacker houses?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think let me think. Do you have some pointers? This is like a very broad topic.
Right.
I think.
Okay, let's stay on the community side. Like, I guess, building a community is something that is important for every crypto entrepreneur. I think like that community is your user base, is your like stakeholders, is kind of everything in one thing. So organizing these houses is basically bring different people together. And I guess as you did it more, you learn.
I think we lost him, but
You cannot hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Wait, so you heard my question?
Yeah.
So
But you didn't finish, right? Yeah.
So what did you learn about community management, about how to run a community through organizing these houses? If there is principles for bringing people together and
So I think the key of running a hacker house is most of the work is done before the hacker house. And most of that is how you select people, how you funnel in like the right people. Also for us, we spend like 2 months beforehand to try to find the right people. We get like hundreds of inbound applications / like a name list of people that we want to outbound outreach and essentially like make it happen for them to come. If they're really good, right? And basically like there's like multiple steps in the interview where we can like help weed out the true passionate people versus the folks that are like still exploring but not unset with their ideas, right? Like basically I think one thing that we really look for is like incredible passion and digging super deep into what they are actually passionate about. Like one thing that I like to do is asking the question what and why like 6 times, right? Like explain to me a concept that you really love, right? And then like they say something and I ask, why does that matter? Why does that, like, where does, right? You like once you can dig layers deep, you can tell that this person is passionate. I think it's just a very simple way of like helping to gauge, right? And then the other thing is like just being able to like look at whether they really have the capability to build something, right? But based on their track record, like have they been built, like they've been claiming that they've want to build something, but have they been serial builders? And like yeah, I think these are some of the things, but and then just generally like just a vibe, right? Like being able to like speak with these people online, and most people are like super good offline based on their online sort of interaction with them. And I just think that we spend a lot of time looking for the right people, and once you curate the right people, the other thing that we spend a lot of time on is to finding the right house. Like the environment matters so much. And like having some maybe Airbnb or something that like has a really large living room and the very good environment for bringing people together to co-work and to interact with each other. I think these two are some of the things that we spend the most time on. And once you set these two factors correct or in the right way, then everything else I think is just like magic. It just organic interactions offline, like late night conversations, whiteboard sessions, people teaching each other, people like are able to like essentially, it's not just me doing the work, most of it is people doing work on each other, right? And then we are here to support as well by bringing the right resources to these people afterwards if they need a job, if they are looking for grants, if they're looking for fundraising, if they're looking to like hire, right? Like yeah, so I think, but the magic happens mostly before hacker houses, I think.
Okay, so I think what's really critical is for viewers that want to understand how to build a community of their own. Can you kind of walk through how you have established presence in the Web3 community, and what are the key fundamentals to understanding and building a community that is, stands on its own 2 feet, but also produces great products in the future?
So I think first you need to understand what purpose you're building a community for, right? Like I think Jessy was describing the hacker house. So, you know, the goal of the hacker house, at least in the second phase, was to basically help her finding deals or finding potential co-founders to build something with. So she wanted to bring builders together into one place. So I guess the goal of why you are bringing people together and what those people should do should differentiate what you're doing. So let's think about cases, right? Like so I guess, you know, there are a couple of types of communities, but let's go through a couple. So one type of communities that I can think of is followers. So when you're saying building a community, is building a following. Now, I'm not very good at building following myself, at least not a large following, just you know, just having my own network, but I'm not like you know, famous personality. But from the friends of mine that are you know, big in Twitter, they have a few things in common. They are very clear regarding what kind of information they are providing and for what kind of people. So taking two people as an examples, like Udi Wertheimer, that is very much focused on you know, changing Bitcoin or speaking about the future of Bitcoin. Now with the Taproot Wizards, before he did it just to say that Bitcoin can be much more than what the maxis are thinking. So he told me, in order to get a lot of people, you need to get very clear regarding what you are providing to them, like what kind of information you are providing to them. So if you're thinking about community as followers, like you need to be very clear regarding what value you are bringing and to who. Another example for following is Jason Chu. Jason Chu have this podcast called BlockCrunch, and it's very useful for both builders, but I guess mostly investors, to get up to date. So his community is mainly, you know, this kind of people that want to get up to date. So this is one type of community, basically followers. The second type of community that I can think of in crypto are basically user base or stakeholders. So basically those are both users and investors of your project. So how can you get people interested? So I would think about those people as more investors, like more than everything, those people are investors. Okay. Like users in crypto, until now at least, are basically investors. The users of every product are investors of those products. So if you think about recent launches of products, those are products that are creating new categories, like we said in the past, and for them, like the way they are creating a community is in a way of B2B. They are giving the opportunity for businesses to build on top of them. So if you look at big communities in crypto, those are layer 1s, layer 2s, you know, and exchanges, you know, decentralized exchanges. What's in common? You know, recently EigenLayer, like what's in common to all of those things? Those are protocols for businesses to build something new on top. DEX enable, you know, Uniswap enable people to have businesses to have liquidity for their token, where beforehand it was very hard to do so. Layer 1s, you know, deploy your code. EigenLayer is basically creating an app with all of the Ethereum. No, yeah, the same security as Ethereum, the same validator set. And so I would say community of projects are mainly about providing opportunities to businesses and also to be very reliable. I mean, those projects that have the most communities are projects that are backed by good investors and good partners. So if you are reliable and if you are creating a new category, businesses will come to build on top of you, and then users will come to those businesses. So this is like the long tail, you know, like very similar to how Amazon creating stores, stores of Amazon. So building a community as an influencer and having like a following base is providing, I guess, the very specific information about a topic that is not available much in the internet or in Twitter. Making a community as a project is creating a new category and enabling B2B opportunities with a lot of, I guess, reliability, like how to say, you know, like basically creating legitimacy for yourself. So that's what brings the businesses. Another example is those DAOs, right? Like DAOs are basically bringing people together because they want something. So investment DAOs want deals. Service provider DAOs want clients, and so on and so forth. So that's another type of community, and for that I would say bring people that they don't have enough of that thing. Like a service provider don't have enough clients, and by uniting forces together, you can people can help each other. I don't know what other communities are in crypto. What other types?
No, I think that's a great point. Especially, it also extends itself to developer communities where there's kind of a supply and demand inconsistency where they meet, like you're describing, whether that's in a DAO or again in something more organic, like a Discord community where people are building atop of a protocol and trying to achieve some sort of solution. Because there's a massive demand, for example, like commoditized or decentralized AI, which we just spoke about. I guess my question is, there seems to be a lot of these communities out there, and people are, in addition to building their own, are also interested in joining. What are the key indicators besides strong development team, an initiative, and this kind of like supply demand gap that you would say is a good indication for you to join the community? And obviously, like, you know, if you want to solve some sort of problem, but you know, there are 50 communities out there for decentralized oracles or infrastructure communities. What are the ways that people can get involved, or how do they know what type of communities they should be joining if building is not for them?
Yeah, I mean, first, okay, now let's speak about what is the roles of one joining a, like, what is the meaning of the word community, right? Like when you are taking part in a project, what you can actually do. One is to be a token holder, is to just buy the token and stay informed regarding what is happening with the project. So for that, you're just consuming information. You know, the second one is to be a user as well, you know, using the product. And it depends what the product is, but every product, I mean, most products in crypto, they have super users and they have users. So for example, in Uniswap, you can take and make. What is take is trade. What is make is providing liquidity. So when you're talking about being a user, you can choose also to be a super user or to be a user. Usually when you're a user, you are consuming the services, and when you are a prosumer or super user, you are providing the services on top of the protocol. you have other protocols like Pocket Network. Pocket Network is a RPC provider, but anyone can become a node and provide RPCs, just like Infura is today. So I would say when choosing what to do, because most users, when they're joining crypto communities or getting involved with products, what they want is to make money. Most of them, and while making money, while you wanted to make money, you need to use your resources. If you have money, then making money is about providing liquidity or buy tokens. But if you don't have money, how can you make money? By participating. So like doing things that are technical, like running nodes, is one way to make money. But also getting involved in general with the discussion and voting, like this kind of things is also very valuable, and you can make money by help navigate the direction of the DAO, help coordinate. I would say coordination. If you want to help, again, like within a community, there is all these voting things, and even within that, you can be a consumer, meaning to just get information about the direction of the DAO, but you can also help coordinate people together, create community calls, and you can start doing it for free. And after you are getting involved for free, very fast, someone will noticing you and will give you a role. So you can find a job like that in a protocol. So if you don't have money, one way is to make money is to just putting time into a specific community that you like and create content, create videos, create community calls, and try to get things forward with those protocols. And very fast you can vote, or you can upload the vote for funding, and then you can potentially get a yearly salary for yourself. So when you're saying like, if I want to get involved, what should I get involved into? So first pick the topic that you want to get involved into, the topic. There is a lot of types of projects in the space: DeSci, games, DeFi, infrastructure, different types of infrastructure, many things. After you pick the topic, see if you have money or not. If you have money, you can participate with money. If you don't have money, see what things you can participate with time. One, like we said, is to use the product. After that is to create, help create something technical, like creating a node or helping the protocol expand. Three is getting involved with the community coordination and voting. What other ways you can get involved? Let me think. I think that's mostly
No, I think that covers most of it. I think, especially for someone like me, and likely people that are listening to the podcast, resources are obviously limited, but being able to involve yourself, integrate yourself to kind of create this leverage is such an invaluable tool that you can then become reputable in the space, like you were saying, either get rewarded financially or through more indirect methods like experience, which is huge. And for people that are trying to build a name for themselves in this space, I mean, that's more valuable than getting a few extra bucks. So I think that leveraging the decentralized nature of these communities and kind of just it being a meritocracy is really critical. But
by the way, like there is also another community, which is the crypto community. Like, it's not communities about a project or about a person, is basically a collection of people that are interested in crypto, and those people you can find going to conferences and in crypto Twitter in general, and getting involved with this community is a little bit different. But one of the ways is to do something like what Jessy did, is to facilitate things that many of the people have needs for. So for example, making hacker houses is something that very, very good, because people are going to conferences, they are staying in hotels, and not only expensive, but they are alone. Like they are basically isolated from each other. If they could basically stay with smart people, and because conferences, you don't really get to meet people. You meet people, but you only get engaged with someone, or only get to know someone after like 10 conferences. Why? Because you meet someone, you take his telegram, you go back home, and you forget about that person, and then you go back another conference. After 2 years, you really meet someone. But organizing hacker houses, like what Jessy did, is basically helping people, accelerating their relationships, the new relationship into something that they can really like take home and get going afterwards, by themselves after even one conference. Like so I feel that's valuable, and that's also a way to participate in the crypto community, which is like the meta community of people that are in crypto.
Yeah, I think that was really well put. And this has been a fantastic podcast, especially pivoting from what I thought was going to be a technical deep dive into EigenLayer to now how to build soft skills in terms of relationship building and fostering a strong community from nothing, and looking for gaps where people really just want to be together and learn from other smart people. So Yoni, I think you put it beautifully, and Jessy's anecdotes have been great. It'll be a pleasure talking to her in the next couple of weeks, but we thank all the users for listening. Yoni, do you want to add anything else? Any other last tips for community building, or building a strong network within the larger community space?
Like I'll just say that the next few episodes, I'm excited for sharing the lessons that I learned regarding how to be a better investor, how to be a better builder, and that's include many things that normal investor or builder doesn't really have to have. Like how to build a community is one, but also how to choose what to build, but also how to raise money, how to understand narrative as a builder. So all of those things are not really needed in Web2 building, but I'm excited to share for people to potentially learn from that, and potentially have a easier life doing those things.
Well, thank you. I'm also excited to learn from you, so this is going to be a blast for myself. But yeah, that wraps up the 5th episode, and we'll be back next week with another informative episode of the Yoni Ben Shimon. So see you guys later.